Support WrestleTalk!
Be kind to each other in the comments. The Hurt Business breaking up again with Bobby Lashley and MVP, and definitely the sisters, all of Bobby's sexy sisters, just cast to one side like they were nothing more than local talent that WWE won't pay for to go on the road now that they're returning to touring. It's almost like that's the case. I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by Lukewarm Luke Owen, and we are here to review last night's episode of Monday Night Raw. Please get in your Ultrachats to WrestleTalk.com/support or read out every one over $5 or more by the end of the show. And of course, give us a subscribe. This is Money in the Bank week. We've got all of the content coming for you. Of course, Raw today, NXT tomorrow, the predictions immediately after that, AEW, magazine show, SmackDown, then the Money in the Bank live reactions themselves.
Oh yeah, not only is it a Money in the Bank week, not only have we got Money in the Bank predictions, not only have we got Money in the Bank live reactions on those Money in the Bank live reactions, we've got the first ever Jam in a Jar ladder match where the winner will earn the Jam in the Jar, which means they can cash in on any main event on a future live stream to possibly become the new Jam That champion. And we've got a corking 8-person lineup for that Jam in the Jar ladder match.
Should we announce ourselves now?
I'm entering myself into the Jam in the Jar ladder match. How about you?
Yeah, all right then. I'll also do it. We can't beat Natty's addition into the women's Money in the Bank match. That is probably one of the greatest ways to qualify, as a supplemental tweet sent out early in the day before the show. But yes, why not? Why not now? Me and Luke, we're going to be helping each other out. Yes, in the Jam in the Jar.
We'll certainly do what we can. I mean, as per the rules of the match, we are given an avatar for whoever is in the match. So if we get Naomi and Asuka, because they're the best of friends, that they will try and help each other out in winning.
Yes. But let's get to this episode of Raw, which was overall, it was fine. It wasn't bad. I think that's one of the key takeaways these days. Was it bad? Was it one of the worst shows they've been doing pretty much every week since 2021 began? Or was it one of those few, still pretty boring, but just about watchable episodes? And I am happy to report it's the latter.
Yeah, it was fine, I guess.
It was fine.
I thought it was quite boring at times, quite boring a lot of the times, in fact. Standard in other ways, pretty okay in other ways. The opening and closing segment, I think, was probably the strongest stuff on the show. Although even the opening one is, you're pinning your world champion 6 days before he defends that title because you're trying to set up the story that, Kofi could possibly beat him. Even though we have seen Kofi beat Bobby Lashley as well. That's the whole catalyst for this. So I don't think we needed Xavier Woods to also prove that was the case. However, the ending promo that we got from Bubbles and with MVP, I thought was terrific. And actually, genuinely pretty great build for their Money in the Bank title match. But, I thought the rest of the show was so-so.
But it wasn't actively bad.
No,
nobody got a name change. There was no supernatural nonsense. I felt like the Rhea and Charlotte storyline did something different.
Hold on. Alexa Bliss literally disappeared.
Yeah, but that can be explained. She could have run away very quickly.
They didn't see her run away. She disappeared. She made herself evaporate from the scene.
I think there's a difference between legit, that could be explained. I feel like Bliss could have ran off. She could have scurried.
You're right. It can be explained. She is a magical being, and she made herself disappear. That's how it's explained.
No. I think what I really like about Bliss these days is that she's taken a lot more psychologically realistic approach to her storylines. I think that's what's come in with this new entrance music and everything.
It's really weird, isn't it? So they've only just started selling the Lily doll on www.shop.com. As soon as they've taken, and Lily hasn't been seen on TV for 5 weeks at this point.
Man. It's a shame that WWE's sort of licensing and merchandising departments can in no way keep up with how quickly plans are dropped.
You say
Do you
that,
think
but
we'll
like
see?
the whole Jinder storyline, the Jinder angle today is because they've got toys to sell.
What, they're going to sell a Jinder with a sword on a motorbike?
No, there's legit a new set that's been released with Drew McIntyre like destroying a motorbike.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. How do they get to that? Because that hasn't been part of his character at all.
Well, you need to sell it now, don't you? It's
Yeah.
like sometimes these things like remember the shark cage stuff, like when they were like, well, we've got the shark cage toy to sell, so we need to do at least 5 shark cage matches on pay-per-view to really hype up this as a special stipulation.
Well, this show opened with, well, I'll recap the Lashley and Woods stuff first, and Kingston, of course, and MVP. So the show opened with a match between Bobby and Xavier Woods. Bobby pretty much dominated the entire match. MVP was that they were cutting to the women, the sisters, not prostitutes, sisters, more often than usual. They were in this sort of Lashley's Lounge casting couch set at the top of the stage. And Bobby was sort of, he was doing a bit of showboat and he was getting a bit cocky. I'm gonna beat this chump now like I did a few weeks ago, and then I'm gonna beat Kofi this Sunday. And then he hit a spear, usually signaling it's the end game. Bobby's gonna win now. He stands up and Woods, was it an inside cradle or something? Just tangled him up. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Shocking victory. I'm like, yeah, I'm really excited for Lashley versus Woods at the pay-per-view now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm as I said, I am in two minds of this, because do you know what I'm doing if I'm booking, like, do you know what, if I'm building Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page for the AEW Championship at All Out, what I'm not doing is pinning Kenny Omega, just before you go into the pay-per-view, because I don't feel that's a way to make someone feel special and important, particularly because Lashley has lost 4 of his last 6 matches. So I don't what I wouldn't be doing now is pinning him again, considering that this was started from the fact that Kofi got the shocking win over him.
Well, you said you're in two minds. What's the other side then? Because that was the negative side.
Yeah, but the positive side of this is that the ending angle, which is like Lashley used this, like he came out at the end of the show and he's all disheveled, like he left the building and he came back and hasn't got his shirt on properly and his tie's not done up and stuff. And he's literally like, sisters, please leave this ring. I want to speak to MVP alone with the Thunderdome crowd. And then, it's probably been like to MVP. It's like, look, we need to stop dicking around. I don't want champagne. I don't want ladies who are going to service me. I don't want couches and all this sort of stuff. I want to just like kick some ass. I want to kill some people. And that was like really cool. Like, so using that as motivation is really good. But like, I think it would have been better and probably more impactful had he not lost 4 of his last 6 matches.
So I just want to point out to Clackman, it was a joke that I said Lashley versus Woods for this Sunday. I was making a joke about Woods getting the victory here. But yeah,
I would hope he'd get a title shot off the back of this.
You see, well, that's it. Because in the moment, I didn't mind it. Because, you turn on Raw, it's the same stuff. Your mind goes into autopilot, really. I pretty much copy and paste my notes from the previous week. I know exactly what's going to happen. And Lashley lost to Woods. And I was like, what? And it gave me this jolt of, it was like someone just chucked a glass of water over me in a good way. And I know I totally get wrestling psychology that this is not the way it's done. But in this moment, I'm not even talking about when it was arguably even more justified later in the night when it paid off for character development and a storyline progression. But in that moment, I was like, I never thought Kingston was going to win. But this result of Woods getting that sort of shock victory has made me more interested in Money in the Bank. So okay. I can't, I've gone from here to here in terms of interest. That's exactly what a go home angle should do.
That's interesting because like, Lashley losing last week and then losing here just solidified in my mind that Lashley's definitely winning this weekend. So Woods getting the win here made me think that like Lashley is definitely retaining. There's no way that Kingston has got a chance in winning in this match now.
Maybe it's just because it was different and it really surprised me. And like you said, later on, we had this like really, really well acted segment. You know, some people are calling this the best promo of Lashley's career, and it probably is. I can't think of many better. And you know, he really carried himself well. He seemed like a genuine threat. It really felt like a shift in. I think we can all agree now that the almighty Bobby has not been the full potential version of him that we all thought he would be pre-title win. You know, because everyone loved the Hurt Business.
Because it's not Hurt Business Lashley. This is the almighty Bobby Lashley, which is like a lesser good version than the Hurt Business Bobby Lashley.
It's Vince McMahon's version of what he wants Bobby to be. He comes out, he's a god, he's got the AR thing. It's not about Hurt Business, it's always almighty. And I felt like this was sort of the, no, let's stop all that now. No more women, no more sisters, no more champagne. These are all the things Bobby said. And MVP, I thought his performance was excellent here. He had very few lines. This is all just him acting, reacting to what Bobby is saying. And he's kind of a mixture of scared and like shame, a bit ashamed at the same time, because like, oh, you're right. So are Bobby Lashley and MVP breaking up? Definitely a possibility, because this company. But I don't think that's the way they're going to go. Particularly, I just that end bit with Bobby cutting that promo, more serious route, MVP still with him. I just thought these two versus Brock and Paul. That's the mirror image I want.
Yeah, so when Lashley lost at the start of the show, and then you walked away sad from MVP, I did have like oh God, don't break this act up. Like you have got something, like you've already got the watered down version of what was great 6 months ago. Like, let's not water this down even further. And then when he came out again, like he didn't come out for the first 2 times that MVP called him out, and then he eventually came out. I was like, oh God, no, please do not break this act up. We do not need to see Lashley just go on this singles run without MVP. And then like the promo that he cut, his reasoning for doing so. And yeah, to echo you, MVP, it was the shamefulness that got me. MVP's look of just like, oh man, you're absolutely right. Like, how have I let it come to this? How have I let my man, my client, lose 4 of his last 6 matches? How has that happened? Like, that's bad. Like, I failed him. And actually then cutting this promo saying like, I'm going to kill Kofi Kingston this coming weekend. It was a really, really great promo. That promo got me hyped up for the Money in the Bank match, not the Woods win at the start, but the promo at the end. That's what hyped me for this match, which a match that I've been actually pretty hyped for since it was announced.
Yeah, I think that, but both bits hyped me. I can totally see why. It's like, yeah, on paper, Woods should not beat Lashley the week before the pay-per-view, but I do hope that leads to a Woods match down the line. I think Woods versus Lashley for the title, because I don't think Kofi's going to win still. For the title, it's a great TV main event that you can build a couple of weeks in advance.
Oh yeah, and totally, like, you know, everyone's got the theory now that Big E's going to win Money in the Bank, Kofi's going to win here, and then Big E's going to cash on, which I don't.
The heel turn.
Well, no, exactly, but I don't think that's a possibility either. I also don't think, as well, just to answer the video podcast question, I don't think MVP and Lashley are breaking up. Like, I know some people were very upset at us titling the video that at the start.
Oh, really?
Live. Well, it was clickbait because they're clearly not breaking up. But it's posing a question. So I don't think they're breaking up. But for me, I'd still have Big E win. But like Big E like going off against Bobby Lashley as champion and him winning, and then him having some feuds with Kofi afterwards. Like you can still do like a New Day with the title. Lashley's still in the picture. Like that is a way to really elongate this New Day versus Lashley feud into various different months in various different combinations. Even like you could promote for a pay-per-view the New Day 3-way for the WWE Championship.
Like the famous Shield 3-way. So what you're saying, if I'm hearing you correctly, is Big E wins, and then Kofi slowly turns heel as he aligns himself with MVP and Bob. Yes, I love it. That's a really good idea. Let's sign off on that now. Should we see what the wonderful SWAF Nation have to say? Of course, get in all your Ultrachats to WrestleTalk.com/support. We'll read out every single one of them over $5. Nothing on our main discussion point, but Charles Berg has sent in a cat photo and review, but I need to discuss Ricochet. Whenever he wrestles, I think this guy is one of the most incredible talents I've ever seen. Then he talks, and I think this guy is the biggest dweeb in the universe. I wish he was a mute.
Yeah, he is quite a dweeb. That's a really good word to use. That's a great way to describe what Ricochet is.
He's so much better, because I used to see him on the indies, and he was so good at just talking to the crowd during the matches. So he does have it. It's the way he's been scripted. Andrew the Last Airbender. I just can't believe that one of Bobby's sisters pulled a Lex Luger on a taped WWE show and a live AEW show. The Monday Night Wars are back, baby. I can't wait to see the faction made up of former WWE extras rise to the top of the wrestling world. Did you see this?
I haven't, no.
So one of Bobby's sisters of course, this episode was a taped show. It was taped last Tuesday because WWE are now leaving the Thunderdome, which is probably for the show's benefit because they couldn't really change anything afterwards. But one of Bobby's sisters wrestled a match against Layla Hirsch on Dark at the same time
really?
This was airing. Yeah.
No way. Oh, that's hilarious.
Ever the Villain says, did we miss Lily's name in the most recent talent cuts?
I mean, it would be in line because, Aleister Black had t-shirts up for pre-order on WWEshop.com as it was released. So, Lily finally getting merch and was cut 3 weeks ago would, be really in line with this company.
And that's all our, apart from the paw review, which we'll leave for later on, or the claw review rather. Yeah, that's all our chats for now because, to be honest, it wasn't that much of an inspiring episode. It really was just...
Yeah. Sorry. I mean, I'm just also looking at the viewing figures now. It's one of our. We haven't got a lot of people tuning in for this either. I think next week is going to be the week where this sort of we see maybe a bit of a change around of things because they're going to be back in front of fans. A lot of people have said they can't get into wrestling because they cannot get on with the pandemic era. They didn't get on with going back and watching some of those early pay-per-views when it was there was no one then, it was just echoing around the building. That was really awkward. I credit the Thunderdome. I think the Thunderdome was an ingenious concept, and I think that really saved a lot of WWE shows. But I think there is a portion of fans that have just been holding on for when fans come back, and that's when they're going to get back into wrestling. That's kind of my hope anyway. I think next week's show is going to be a pretty big one.
Oh, yeah. All the Money in the Bank fallout, whatever NXT call-ups we're going to get. Of course, we've already started to have them on SmackDown, but there's Bronson Reed and Karrion Kross just lurking. Before we get on with the whole show review, of course, WrestleTalk.com/support, get your Ultrachats in there. Would you have preferred a bit more of a send-off to the Thunderdome as a place? Of course, with AEW and Dynamite, we got that wonderful video package of Daily's Place before they left. I'm not saying do that, but I thought we could have had some kind of destruction angle. Where's a retribution when you need them?
I thought that's why they were having the Falls Count Anywhere match. Because you could do stuff that would have destroyed the Thunderdome on the way out, or Lashley would have destroyed it as part of his promo, as part of his rage, he's actually destroying the set and everything. But as it turns out, this was a regular episode of Raw. It just also happened to be the final episode of the Thunderdome and also the go-home show for Money in the Bank.
So you'd assume this was our last real chance at any crazy stunts. I will not miss them. It's going to be the last time. It's going to be the last time you see Alexa Bliss do some of that sort of spooky style, because they're not going to be able to make her disappear when you're back in front of live crowds. Not to that degree, anyway, where you throw them out into the audience and then she disappears in front of your eyes. She's not going to be able to make stuff fall from the ceiling, or swing sets magically appear in the ring. So none of that stuff's ever going to happen again, thankfully. She's not disappearing. She's scurried. Psychological realism with Bliss now. The show itself started with a graphic remembering the Paul Orndorff, who passed away yesterday. Quite shockingly at a young age. But then we had the opening segment, which was the Bobby Lashley Xavier Woods match, which we've covered. Then backstage, Jinder Mahal arrives with a motorbike and a sword.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I found out about the toy set after this show. I think someone sent it across to Sean. Like, I think the set's been out for a little while, but now they're like, it literally like is the exact same motorbike design and everything. And the commercial they've got features Drew tearing it apart. So, but yeah, like I was like, why is Jinder still? And then like, he arrives and Veer and Shanky have got the sword from last week, and I'm like, oh, this ever loading him up with gimmicks here. And then when Drew destroyed the motorbike later on, I was like, oh, right. Okay, that's why the motorbike was introduced last week, is so that Drew could beat it up.
So I'm on the page right now. Let me share my screen.
Please do.
So this is the product page for the WWE Wrecking Slam Cycle vehicle. So motorbikes, like hospitals? Can we not call them a motorbike?
A cycle vehicle.
Oh my God, it's some kind of cycle vehicle. It's one of the clunkiest words to say.
Do you know what? I'm just with WWE now. It doesn't even like register with me that they called that a cycle vehicle. It didn't even register with me.
So kids can roll down to the ring with a Drew McIntyre action figure in a motorcycle, they say it there, that can be smashed, bashed, and crashed again and again with 9 breakable parts. Pop a wheelie with awesome stunt action. Yeah, you can display your favorite figure on the bike, yada, 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 more
like
stuff,
Jinder Mahal.
Articulation. So let's have a look at these pictures. If I see this set, that to me says, oh, Drew is going to start to have a motorbike in his act.
Well, no, because Jinder was the one who got the motorbike, so that Drew could destroy, because Drew's in the commercial. Funny enough, actually, the other person who's in the commercial is Roman Reigns, which really buries Jinder, because that ain't Drew or Roman's bike. It's Jinder's bike.
Oh, that was a big up top there, isn't it?
I was going to say Drew's been at the old Frey Bentos pies there. He's had a couple of those instead of the protein shakes.
I think he's carrying a lot of tension in his shoulders.
Look at that on holiday weight. Good catering in the Thunderdome currently.
There it is, the Slam Cycle vehicle. And we can see, yeah, there's Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre there trying to beat each other up with motorbike parts. Well, I guess they had the big Survivor Series program. I mean, one of the theories is because Drew cannot challenge for the title currently, he'll move over to SmackDown sooner rather than later. Maybe part of the draft, which reportedly has been moved to October as well, not even August. So they can feud over a motorbike there.
Can you it says there that there's 2 reviews. Can you click the reviews?
Oh, they might not be written. Great product at a good price. It comes with a WWE figure, easy to wreck and put together. Looks good. Definitely good value for money. I would recommend this product. And my little boy loves it. Overall, very happy. Product great, easy to order, and great communication.
I mean, you know, I was talking to my brother this past weekend. Come on now, get us fixed. So I was talking to my brother this past weekend about a YouTube channel that he's really gotten into over the pandemic era of life.
2099 WWE.
If only. No, he's actually massively got into people who do like Hot Wheels races. So you just set up like big tracks. And I was thinking, we're having chats at the moment about new series that we could do on partsFUNknown. What if we got, like, if they do more of these cycle vehicles, we could do like races of them, because like they break and everything. So you could like do it with big slow motion cameras and stuff, do commentary over it. I'm just pitching it because I've already pitched 20 great ideas. So
it's good to keep the pitching going, isn't it? Because one will stick.
Idea machine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
one
come on
will
now.
Stick.
Come on now. The squash match is legit the best idea we've got.
Do you want to pitch that to the live audience?
Oh no, I'm just gonna leave it dangling. Leave it dangling. Genuinely though, I mean, you all said it's the best idea you've ever heard. So like, come on now.
Yeah. Yes. So Jinder's here with a bike. We've seen the bike already, but he also has a sword. Then we go backstage for probably the worst thing on the show. Alexa Bliss's playground segment. She originally only invited Doudrop, but of course Eva Marie turned up as well, dressed in what looked like a sweet rapper, and Eva would answer for Doudrop and then got annoyed and walked off. What they're setting up is Doudrop and Bliss seem to like each other.
Also, they go vroom vroom. Yeah, so I hate this story. Yeah, because like it doesn't make like a whole lick of sense. Are Doudrop and Bliss friendly? Like, I think Doudrop wants to be friendly with Alexa Bliss because she's meant to be this naive character, right? Like, that was week 1 when they introduced Doudrop. She was this naive character that had bought into Eva Marie's nonsense. So that kind of makes sense. And that character there would totally work in this scenario where she's not aware that Alexa Bliss is a scary, spooky skeleton. And, you know, she would actually think, oh, we're friends. And then as soon as that fiend tries to attack Eva Marie, her best friend, she would then like attack for her. The problem is the previous 3 weeks have all shown us that she is aware that Eva Marie has lots of nonsense and she doesn't want to be friends with her, but yet constantly comes out with her, tags with her, and then comes to her defense. It's almost as if they don't know where they're going with this storyline and they're just writing it week to week and making it up as they go along. It's like watching a series of Lost.
I think it makes sense. I think Doudrop is obviously like a, you know, the sort of misfit character. She's not the beautiful Eva Marie. And I think they're framing Alexa Bliss as someone who is also on the margins because she's different. She's a bit gothic. And I felt like that was the connection they had, that they're not part of the super pretty people.
Alexa Bliss is not part of the super pretty people.
No, not in this one. She's goth Bliss.
Are you trying to say, Ollie, whoa, are you trying to say the goth people can't be hot? Oliver
That's
Davis.
Exactly what I'm saying. They dress in black too much. No, it's kind of like the High School Movie. Eva Marie is the cheerleader. She's the mean girl. And I feel like Doudrop and Alexa Bliss's characters are socially below that, so that they find common ground. I feel like Bliss is looking at Doudrop, being like, here is an oppressed individual, a bullied individual. I'm a babyface now. I might try and save her. I think that's where this storyline's going to go. I think we'll probably see Bliss and Doudrop as a tag team.
And dude, I can totally get behind that. If they had made sense the previous 3 weeks where Doudrop has known that Eva Marie is oppressing her. Like, that's where this all falls down. Also, bloody hell, I know I rag on Natalya's acting and Tamina's acting and Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. They have brought Eva Marie in here because she's an actor. And she was awful. Awfully in this. This was the worst acting that WWE has had in quite some time.
There's only so much you can do with material.
But I believe she's doing it on purpose. I believe she is acting poorly on purpose. I think it's all part of the heel shtick.
Would you prefer, like, obviously Drew McIntyre is also given terrible material. He's at the opposite end of the spectrum. He is given it too much effort. Would you prefer Drew to just treat his promos like Eva Marie treats this?
100%. Yeah.
Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair got a nice recap of them winning the ESPY for WWE Moment of the Year, a category that WWE, I think, was always going to win.
Yeah, it is the pat yourself on the back awards because it's only WWE Moments they get nominated and WWE get to pick which one it is. So
I wouldn't have voted for it.
This is like, I mean, it's basically like winning a golden.
They broke kayfabe at the start.
It's like winning a Golden Globe, really, at the end of the day.
Jinder is now in the ring with Drew's sword under a cloth, and Drew appears on the Titantron, and Jinder's like, haha, I've broken your sword in two. And Drew is like, haha, that's not my real sword. And then he's got the sword there. And then he's like, but this is your real bike. And he trashed the bike. God, oh my God, it was so bad.
So all those times that the commentators kept saying, oh, that's Drew's family heirloom sword. Oh, mate, I got that done at Toys R Us. It was made of plastic. It was a load of crap. I didn't care about this thing. Just for my entrance, isn't it?
Brian Alvarez pointed out, like, you know, it cuts to Drew being like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, you don't take your real heirlooms to shows. You take the props. You take replicas. and then he reveals that he's got the real one with him at a show.
Also a replica.
Yeah, it's rubbish. Nikki, A.S.H, Naomi, and Asuka, and Alexa Bliss, so all the Raw women in the Money in the Bank match, then had a four-way. Eva Marie and Doudrop came out early on. Bliss got distracted, went for Eva Marie, not for Doudrop, and Doudrop like sort of picked her up because she's under Eva Marie's command, threw her over the barricade, and that's when Bliss disappeared. And I thought the people left actually had a pretty decent triple threat, which Nikki Cross won.
Yeah, I wrote my notes here. Decent action. Really good action, actually. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed watching these three work. It's the kind of match that makes you go like, oh, yeah, the Raw Women's Division's got some real talents on it. It would be nice if they had some stuff to do that wasn't crap. But like, this was really, really good.
Do I like Nikki A.S.H? Do I like the superhero character? Because I'm trying to figure out, like, would I, because she's getting a push now. She won this match. She lost last week, but she's racked up a lot of wins. And now I'm like, but if she wasn't a superhero, would I be this behind her? And I think the superhero thing is actually working. I
think it kind of works. And like, I don't hate it at all. Like when I first saw it, I was like, oh no, what have they done with Nikki Cross? But actually, like the promos that she's doing, and I like particularly like when Matt Riddle said to her, like, they had a promo beforehand, and Matt Riddle was like, "Hey, you're a superhero. Why don't you fly up and just grab the Money in the Bank briefcase?" And she was like, I'm almost a superhero. Maybe one day I'll learn how to fly. And then there was a moment when she did a big crossbody off the top, and not Adnan Vink was just like, oh yeah, she said that she couldn't fly, but I think she can. There's some nice positivity about it all.
I think a lot of the initial frustration with Nikki Cross's rebranding was that we were scared this was just going to be a new way to humiliate her. She's good enough without the superhero gimmick. But yeah, I'm happy to eat my words here. I'm enjoying what she's doing, and it's working on a sincere level, not just an ironic, that's not my real sword level. But Bliss was never to be seen from again. I thought she would factor back into the finish, but no. Viking Raiders cut promos on their singles matches, and then we got those singles matches. AJ Styles took on Ivar and lost in about 3-4 minutes. And then Omos made his in-ring debut against Erik. Singles in-ring, of course. Sorry.
He's the tag team champion, mate.
Yeah. Where he didn't take a single bump.
Well, no, he's too big to take bumps. That's not what he's there. He's not there to take bumps, Davis. He's there to be really tall.
I think if he lied down, like if he took a flat back bump, it would have to be only diagonally from corner to corner, because he's going to hit his head on the ropes.
Yeah, he's a road warrior. I ain't taking no flat back bumps, and I'm doing some bear hugs. Don't bother me. That's what I'm doing.
When the bear hug came out, I was like, oh no.
I mean,
I didn't think this made him look better.
I mean, the warning signs were there when he was doing the tree slams to finish, because, like, that was what the great Khali did. And then when he busted out the bear hug, I was like, I can hear Vince McMahon wanking to this. Like, he is proper getting off on he is proper getting off to all of this that's happening in the ring. But, I mean, it did make Omos look bad. So there's a thumbs up.
I don't know where you go with Omos after this. Do you eventually build him up as a top title contender?
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, because I mean, because you almost have to at some point, but then you have to, then you almost, I don't know, have we got like a baby face that we can build that can like chop down the big tree at long last, or is it just going to build to Omos versus AJ, and then Omos can win that really quickly? How long can someone who seemingly can't wrestle be a professional wrestler on a wrestling show? Ask Eva Marie. She's not wrestling. So you just get around it that way. She wrestled last week.
Marie! Hey. After that, Sheamus spoke to not the authority figures about his match against Humberto Carillo. New Day did an interview backstage. Kofi did another very good promo. He's awesome. Got a Money in the Bank video package. I love Money in the Bank. Sometimes I forget because it hasn't meant anything for years, but what a sort of concept. And then Sheamus took out Carillo backstage, but defender of the undercard and friend of all the baby faces, Damian Priest, stopped by and was like, yo, man, you okay, Humberto? And then Humberto came out, got beaten by Sheamus immediately. Sheamus continued to beat him up, and Damian Priest ran out for the save.
Now, I know we can all sit here and make fun of Damian Priest, friends to all the baby faces. Like, there is a lot to be made fun there. I just got excited that Damian Priest was on TV and seemingly doing something. That I was like, oh, what? I don't care. I hope Carillo goes out there and gets his head kicked clean off his shoulders and Priest can come down and set up a match for next week. Because if I was to put money down on the table, if I was a betting man, I would say we're going to get Sheamus versus Priest next week on Raw, and Priest is going to win the title.
Win the title, first show back in front of fans? That's a very good shout, I think. I sort of cynically said, well, that's your pre-show match sorted for Money in the Bank.
Well, I mean,
that's a much better idea.
You could still do it on the pre-show and then just do it again on Raw. Yeah. Like, that's not going to stop them.
I mean, if they do that, which I think is, it's a sound idea, what a sort of redundant run for Sheamus. A man who did 6 months of the best in-ring work for WWE of his career, gets rewarded with the United States title win, gets injured, can't defend it, and then loses it right away.
I mean, you say that, but he'll just be in the matches still. He'll just have matches with Priest, and we'll just do that for 4 months straight.
But it will be with fans. Riddle was then talking to Ricochet backstage before Ricochet's Falls Count Anywhere match with John Morrison. What was interesting here is Riddle said if he wins the Money in the Bank, he will use it to cash in on the tag team championships for him and Randy.
I think at this point you can just ask, can't you? It's only the Raw Tag Team Championships. I don't think you need to cash it in at all.
Yeah, it'll be quite lackluster. But I think that's a nice character beat. I love how how Riddle's being in regards to this. What's going on with Autumn? Why isn't he around?
Well, so Sean pitched this on the Fightful post show, and I've seen a few other people speculate this as well. And I think it's probably right, which is that Orton looked at them and was like, dude, you haven't booked me for Money in the Bank, so can I just have a few weeks off? And they were like, yeah, I mean, we haven't got anything for you, so sure, take some time off. Riddle can carry the storyline for you. But I quite like the idea of if the men's Money in the Bank opens the show, Riddle wins the Money in the Bank briefcase and then cashes it in later on and pins AJ Styles. So he's got both. Orton's not there. He's got both belts. So then Orton can arrive and he can hand him the tag team titles. Like, look, now I won this for you.
That's cool. That's cool. It's different. It's a creative idea, but you miss so much of the build. Randy and Riddle having a match to win those titles. So I do like that, but I think you'll miss out on a larger emotional story.
You're absolutely right. It's not like WWE have bollocksed up the Money in the Bank cash-ins for the last 7 years.
A little bit. Miz and Morrison squirted them with dripsticks. I'm a 33-year-old man. Ricochet and John Morrison then took each other on in I started out pretty salty on this match when I was writing my notes. I was like, here we go again. I just do not like watching Ricochet at the moment because I find him a very unlikable character. But then he just, how long can you stay mad at someone when they're doing such crazy athleticism? The pinnacle of which was like a running shooting star off of the ring post all the way outside onto Morrison. That was your spot to go to a commercial break.
Yeah. It made me angry that they didn't save this for a week later. Like just 1 week later and do this in front of fans. Like as a way to welcome fans back for Monday Night Raw. And you'll probably just get John Morrison and Ricochet next week in match 4 of the series. And like,
well, they're drawn.
Well, exactly. Yeah, it's a Carter Omega, really, when you think about it. So, like, it would make sense for them to do a 2 out of 3 falls match or something. So, with no time limit. So, I kind of wish though that this had been saved for next week.
Mm.
And you could have actually just spent this week promoting the match with like footage from their previous match to be like, here's the sort of thing you can expect. But can you imagine what this is going to be like with fans in the building, like reacting to all of this? Because I just felt like so sorry for Ricochet and John Morrison doing these insane bumps for no one, and like for no one to react to them. I kind of felt really bad for them, and yeah, it kind of sucked that this wasn't in front of fans.
I get what you're saying. I also think that's to miss the purpose of this match, though, which is to sell the crazy spots you're going to see in the Money in the Bank match this Sunday. God, if they're doing this without ladders, what will they do with ladders?
I don't know if that was the purpose of this. Like,
that's totally the purpose of this.
Did you hear the Buddy Murphy interview with Fightful?
I've read excerpts.
So one of the things that Murphy said in that interview, when like the question came up was like, why am I having so many matches with Aleister Black? And WWE's answer was, you have really good matches with Aleister Black. And he was like, what's the purpose of these matches? He's like, because you have really good matches with Aleister Black. So you go out there and you have 5 matches with him. And you'll have 5 matches with Cedric because you have really good matches. I think that John Morrison and Ricochet had one really good match. And they were like, yeah, you can just go out there and just keep doing that match. You have really good matches together. There's no point. There's no rhyme or reason to them. You just have really good matches together.
They know better than us. They run the most successful wrestling company in history. So, we've got to hold up our hands.
And I'm holding up my hands here because this match slapped. It was great.
Yeah. Ultimately, I guess that the one criticism is that it was all superficial. That there is no underlying substance to this match, which, would have been better the way you phrased it. So Miz is trying to interfere. Riddle comes out, sort of overturns Miz on the wheelchair like he's a tortoise, and Ricochet gets the win. So doing a splash off the top rope to the outside through a ladder. So it was a draw in the first match. Morrison won last week. Ricochet won this week. I bet we'll get another match next week. So you'll get your wish.
Well. Yeah,
good luck topping all the spots so far.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I hope that it is you can give them a stipulation that allows them to do like the crazy, wild stuff in front of fans, because I think the fans will go nuts for it.
Then we got Natalya and Tamina still having their Oscar-worthy backstage segment series with Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. Drew McIntyre cut a promo about Icarus, and then he got to a mythical dragon. Read.
Like, let's be honest. Like, they've run out of Scottish history, so they just turned to the Bible. Like that's what they have to do now.
Dragons aren't in the Bible.
Icarus is.
No, he isn't. That's Greek mythology. Were you doing a bit?
The amount of people last week who kept telling me was like, "Oh, you know that Hercules isn't in the Bible, right?" Like, I know that. Like, I was making a joke.
So I read an interview with Drew where, someone's obviously asked him, what's up with the crap promos? And he said, it's, I'll go and hang out with Riddle, and then, in his locker room, kayfabe-wise, he'll be smoking something, or he'll have some candles burning, and then I'll come out and... that all these ideas just come to me. So he is, bless him, he is trying his damnedest to explain WWE giving him crappy promos. I've had quite a few people get in touch with me saying, "Oh no, don't you realize this is what Drew is doing?" And they've given like 4 different explanations for why his promos are goddamn awful. The content, not the delivery, he's great. But yeah, it's I want it to stop.
Yeah, because there was a person who messaged us last week being like, "Oh, he's doing the bad promos are on purpose. He's making fun of WWE's creative." And I don't think that's really the case. I think it's just that they think that this is a good character for him, and like this, he's so proud of his Scottish heritage that is his character. And if you're proud of being a Scot, all you ever do is just talk about your Scottish history. So I think in their mind's eye, this is a good character for him, and this is going to get him over.
Did you see the front page of, I can't remember what Scottish newspaper it was, but it was a big one on Sunday. It was the scene from Braveheart, The Charge, with Roberto Mancini's face on Braveheart. He is the Italian manager. Football. And finally, because we've already spoke about the main event, we got Rhea Ripley versus Natalya. I was like, oh, God. And then they had a really good match.
Yeah, no, really, really good. This is like probably my favorite Rhea Ripley match on the main roster. It was really good. Like,
possibly.
The only criticism that you can really level against this match, because it certainly isn't about the in-ring work, because both of them really brought it. But the only thing you can really level to this as criticism is like, why the smeg is Natty in the Money in the Bank ladder match then? Like, she lost a tag match on Friday to the new upcomers. Then she lost again here. It's like, well, she is zero threat in that match. Why isn't Shotzi in the match? Why isn't like Tegan Nox in the match or something? Why is Natty, who's doing nothing but losing all the time, getting put in the Money in the Bank ladder match?
Yeah, I've got nothing for you, but Rhea won with a really cool, like she was playing possum on the floor, but then hit this kind of Matrix-style kick to Natty's head. Riptide won, and then Charlotte jumped her afterwards with the largest high heels this side of RuPaul's Drag Race. How does she run around in those things?
It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. That's the only words I've got for
it. Draped a figure 4 over the apron. So, yeah, that's your go-home angle there. I thought that was one of the best things they've done in this feud. I hope it ends. So, yeah, overall, I gave it 3 out of 5. Whatever. It was a boring show. Hopefully next week. Come on, or from this Friday's SmackDown, fans are back. Yeah. Money in the Bank. SummerSlam build. It's all going to start happening.
Absolutely. Like, this was just... WWE have been done with Raw and SmackDown in the Thunderdome for pretty much since they announced the fans were coming back in July. So the last 2 to 3 months of TV have just been treading water and just holding off on things. So it was just a nothing show, much like most of Raw has been. So 3 out of 5 is fair, but I don't think I care enough to really give it a score. I'd probably given it 2 because
you'd abstain.
I would abstain. I would spoil my ballot. I mean, the chat was in favor with you. 51% thought it was an average show, 24% thinking it was a poor show, 15% thinking it was a rawful show. I certainly wouldn't say it was a 1 out of 5 rawful show, but 6% thought it was a 4 out of 5, 4% thought it was a 5 out of 5 show.
Well, go over to WrestleTalk's Patreon page because we've got something far more enjoyable for you this week. Luke and I, tomorrow, will be recording our Patreon exclusive classic pay-per-view review of Bash at the Beach 2000. I'm an hour and a half in, and I've already seen Jeff Jarrett with an opera singer. I've seen Ernest the Cat Miller attacked by ninjas on 4 separate occasions, and a wedding gown match.
This is a show. If you aren't if you are one of our younger viewers and you don't know what Bash at the Beach 2000 is or why it is such a iconic show of WCW's run, this was the show where they had a planned, worked shoot in order to work the boys in the back and work the internet, and then Vince Russo did an extra level of that, and it led to Hulk Hogan not quitting the company for realsies and firing several lawsuits against the company and against Vince Russo. They literally worked themselves into a shoot, brother. Much love, H.
Bro. Well, you can go over to Patreon to get that, and also loads of other things, loads of other exclusive podcasts, Patreon shout-outs, videos, and your name read out on this show with a wrestling nickname as part of the Hall of Fame. Thank you, Probocop.
They're crazy. Nut Berend.
How do you like them apples, Marcel Dura?
Michael Jensen Radio.
Halloween Havoc Central.
Speaking of WCW, Robert Spencer. Period.
The Schrock Master, Austin Schrock.
David, the D-Train Carpenter.
WrestleTalk Extra Pole Master, Lendell Brunson.
The Gent, Robert Brent.
Who Wants to Walk with Daniel Elias Chrysler.
And lastly, for this Hall of Fame class, on the 13th of July 2021, we're going on a Brian Huntley.
Thank you very much, everybody. Go over to Patreon. Also, last call for those Ultrachats, WrestleTalk.com/support. Get them in. We'll read out every single one over $5. And let's have a thumbs up party. The Thunderdome's gone, but not these two buffoons with their thumbs. Look, hey, the baby face is here. Oh, look. Oh, no. No, the heel's here. Oh, no.
Charlotte
but no,
and
the face
Rhea
is here. Oh, Rhea's here.
Yeah.
Get that thumbs up party going.
Speaking of commentary, do you hear Corey Graves say that Ivar beating AJ Styles was one of the biggest upsets in Raw history, which was just a few matches after Xavier Woods pinned Lashley in what they said was one of the biggest upsets in Raw history? Pick your lanes, lads.
Well, these are big results. It was a show on shocking results in history. So Will Campbell here says, Bobby losing to Woods and that segment at the end of the show has me hopeful for another Kofi title run. They probably won't do it, but that promo seemed to me like Bobby was unraveling and Kofi could strike while that iron is hot. What do you two think?
I still think Lashley wins here, but this is not the end of the feud.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, no, I think this is the end of the feud because he's got something bigger for SummerSlam.
Oh, I know. I think, yeah. I think there's something with Big E in there. Like, Big E feels like my favorite to win Money in the Bank at the moment.
The intangible one, Cliff Beard. Intangible. The Drew destroying a motorcycle being the reason why Jinder has won now sounds exactly like when they gave Braun that car for him to tear apart. Also, I feel bad for Ollie. He's convinced himself that Raw was good. Unhappy face. Ever the villain? Get your Alexa's Playground playset now. Sold complete with box-like structure. What's it coming?
Call it a playground. They wouldn't call it a playground, though. They would call it, I don't know, swings. No, like swing set's an actual thing as well. They call it like a swing structure.
A swing structure. Matthew McFadden. Remember when Drew was a dominant champion who earned his opportunities, could open a show with his natural wit and charm, and was compelling to watch no matter the situation? Also, if he was still on TV, they could have had The Fiend burn down the dome. Or just make it disappear. Like the Fiend's that or Bliss, and she goes, boom. And then it's just her and the commentators in the middle of a desert. And that's it. Yeah. Consigned to partsUNknown. Bezo Banks. Asuka, Nikki, and especially Naomi felt extra point in this match. Chemistry was smooth and kicks looked real good. Seriously, F those people who made her leave Twitter and Instagram. Who do you guys think gets the last spot for the women's Money in the Bank match?
Sonya Deville.
Yeah, Sonya Deville. The intangible one, Cliff Beard again. I don't think Big E will win Money in the Bank because it's what we, the fans, want. And WWE gave us what the fans wanted last year with Otis. Genuinely forgot about that. And look how that turned out for them. They might have hesitation of picking the fan fave again because of it.
I would disagree with that one. I don't think the fans wanted Otis to win. I think Vince McMahon wanted Otis to win because he thought it would be really funny and then got bored of it.
Ryan Granert. Lashley runs through Woods and Kofi, and then Big E wins the briefcase, then saves the day and takes the title away from Lashley at SummerSlam. What, so he cashes in advance, effectively? I'm cashing in against you for a match at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine like Big E charging down to the ring. Like if like Lashley's there beating up Woods and he's beating up Kingston, and Big E runs down to make the save for his New Day brothers, lays out Lashley, and then suddenly realizes, I've got the briefcase. And he cashes in on Lashley right there and then wins the belt. And that's then New Day celebrate.
I think that's a dick move. I just feel like Kofi's just there then like, oh, I mean, I'm happy for you, but I was kind of seeing her.
But then, you know? but that's some interesting character work for Kofi then, whose whole thing is built around like this brotherhood of friends, and not for a heel turn, but sort of like questioning is like,
I like it.
You know, I thought we kind of did things together, man. Like I didn't see you kind of doing that, and then you can do Kofi, and that's what you do, the New Day triple threat at SummerSlam.
Great heel turn idea. Mate S, you're right, Ollie. They should have a video montage for the Thunderdome. All the classic moments of people giving thumbs up. The times when they were giving thumbs down. The piped in noise. And the time Street Profits rained down cups. Great idea, lol. That was a sarky end to your...
It was, wasn't it?
I got that it was sarcastic, Nate. And then at the end, great idea, lol. Could have had the moments of the wrestling. Charles Berg, Claw Review 3. Shall we have a picture of this little... Oh. Fred is a super dumb and super sweet Russian blue. He loves to chase toy mice and eat honey maple turkey. Whenever I call for him, he does the sweetest meow you ever did hear. 11 out of 10. Nicknames: Fred Zeppelin, Freddy Spaghetti, Jam That Jam.
Cool.
Good coda fur, that. And finally, for now, thank you everybody for your Ultra Chats. Brett J. Rasmussen says, I put in an Ultra Chat on the Friday episode for you to ask Steve about a channel called Wrestling News Now, which is something that Steve makes fun of a lot. Have you seen anything from it? Also, this Raw was the most okay episode. Riddle is just the best. You familiar with Wrestling News Now?
Oh, we used to watch it in the office. Like we used to, like, every now and again, like when we were talking about stuff, you know, what can we do to you know, maybe build up our view somewhere down the line? You'd be like, because this channel Wrestling News Now gets a lot of hits, and then we would watch and be like, and I don't know how, because man, these videos are real weird and not very good. And then we would just start like doing our own impersonations of the voices and stuff.
We've got a bit. We've got 3 minutes. We've got 3 minutes. So let's have a look at some of these thumbnails.
I mean, I feel like we're now literally just lifting Wrestle Juice's content, because this is what Steve does on his channel.
Yeah.
Which is just
sorry, Steve. Steve does it better. Steve does it better. But I don't remember that. You see that picture of John Moxley there in the middle video?
Yeah. And it's incredible, really, how Wrestling News Now gets these sorts of photos. And he's the only person who managed to get them as well. WWE. Vince McMahon.
What about Brock there? What about Brock there? And he's really changed this year.
They have got incredible Photoshop skills. That much is true. Was that 10 WWE wrestlers who will be? Sorry, I was looking at the Braun one. Who will be forced to retire? Oh man, who's going to be forced with a baby bump?
I want to see wrestlers who changed their look.
Okay. Have you shared audio?
Hey,
I think
I'm
so.
Talon, and this is Rumpus, and I'm going to show you how to start an online t-shirt business.
2 adverts.
Oh, adverts! Adverts are the worst. Oh, I haven't got time for adverts.
First, go to
Come on,
Shopify.com.
skip ads.
Ex-WWE wrestler The Big Show has revealed a very shocking change. Just before The Big Show left WWE, he wrestled in a singlet, but left the upper half of his physique visible. But recently, Big Show made a
where's the
surprising
Moxley
announcement
one?
by revealing the ring gear that he will be wearing in AEW.
AEW
Is now making more money than he did back in WWE.
WWE.
Kevin also recently admitted.
Okay. Here's John Moxley
to John Moxley and joined AEW. But now he has gone through even more changes that might stun some fans. During an autograph signing in Las Vegas, John took off his hat and revealed
this was a big news story. We covered it.
Completely bald. But even though the hair on the top of his head was now gone, he still had his trademark beard. But that all changed the very next day.
What?
And it led to fans being very shocked. As the day after
revealing
his bald head, John decided to go one step further in changing his look. And he shaved off his beard, as he is now not only bald.
What? That's not John Moxley.
Was he just about to say he's now the only member of the Shield who is bald?
What, the Shield as in the TV show? Maybe.
He's looking like Michael Chiklis.
Yeah, Vic. What's he called? What's his name? Vic Massey or something?
Oh no, I'm thinking of a different show, aren't I? What was the one that Michael Chiklis was in?
No, it is Michael Chiklis. Yeah, he leads up the strike team.
Bald, but his face is now clean shaven, with all of the hair on the top of his head.
Someone else's chin
and his trademark.
You can see where they've
off. John is now almost completely unrecognizable. And with this
because it's not the
shocking
same
look,
person.
fans are wondering why John
He has
went to such
changed, to be
extreme
fair.
lengths to drastically change his look. According to a source
I would say
close to John, the birth of his very first child with his wife Renee Young changed
got the
him,
beard there.
and he wanted to signify that he is no longer the same man that he was back in WWE.
He's literally
as
not
that
the same man.
Is no more.
He is now
Because
a
becoming
45-year-old
dad and having
guy
a daughter has
from the
made him
Midwest.
into a different person, and he wanted to show the world that he is now very different, both inside and out. Shaving off his hair and beard.
Oh god, my
was
god.
not a
Okay,
one-time thing,
can we stop
and he
this now?
plans to keep this look.
I
for
just
many
feel like
years to
there
come.
should be a
What
bit
are
when
your
they
thoughts
say,
on the Big
"Not
Show's
really."
new ring gear?
You know, like the end of the video should just be, nah.
Well, I mean,
What do people
I have
say
had
about
people.
this?
I have had people say to me in the past that you don't get wrestling news now. Wrestling news now is intentionally like this. It's intentionally bad, and you're all being worked by it.
But a lot of the comments are like, this is the ultimate fake news channel. This guy is so funny. He's just being a meme at this point.
There you go. People think that it's a work and that we're being worked by it.
Wow. Fascinating. Someone says it's a different voiceover guy.
Yeah, I mean, producer Rich has said that they think that he's been watching Steve's videos because he's like, he changes the way that he's pronouncing words now. Like, he used to say WWE, like AW.
Yeah.
And like in that video you said, then he was like WWE.
He was more normal, wasn't he? Fascinating. Oh, well,
Yeah.
Of course, for a funnier
Credit to
version of what we just looked at, go and look at Steve's channel. What's it called again? It's not
Wrestle
the
Juice.
Going in Raw one. Wrestle Juice. Go and see
check
that.
out Wrestle
Anyway,
Juice, yeah.
thank you everybody for joining us here today. Please do go over and check. Oh, we've just had a few last minute ones. Sorry. Marjo32, have you ever been so big you forgot how to bump? Ollie, did you just say the whole Thunderdome era has been a Jacob's Ladder situation and we've been living in it since the Firefly Funhouse?
I would have loved that. Yeah, Jacob's Ladder. So like Jacob's Ladder is I think it's a book, it's only a film anyway, where like you see like a guy. Basically, it's revealed at the end of it, like what you've seen is his vision just before he gets hit by a car or something along those lines. So like, it's basically like him imagining what his life would have been like, and it was like it was all in his mind this entire time.
Spoiler.
I quite like. I mean, I'd say it's a spoiler, but it's also quite a famous ending. So I would, considering that people now use it as like a noun almost. So yeah, I mean, if we'd have had like the pandemic era was a Jacob's Ladder situation, that I would have 5 out of 5 show. That would have been my thumbnail. That would have been every video from then on. That is the best thing that WWE would have ever done.
Maybe we should run with that as a hot new rumor.
If the show just like, if Vince McMahon, like the end of the show was Vince McMahon waking up and being like, I had this terrible dream, pal. And it was, I dreamt that we were having screens and there were no fans in the building.
We put the belt on Bobby. Ex Machina says Kofi missed from the World Champ Chamber because they forgot one of the New Day was a former champion, and Hurt Business broke up in time for it to be a feature of Lashley's character. Is salvaging your booking mistakes more impressive than booking well initially? No, but it is appreciated. I do like when they can retcon stuff, but of course, always a well-told story over time. But thank you very much, everybody who's tuned in for today and for your very generous Ultra Chats. Please give this channel a subscribe. It's Money in the Bank week, where we've got all of the content coming for you, including NXT tomorrow and Money in the Bank predictions, or as we're calling it, Luke,
Jam in the jar. I mean,
Jam in the jar.
The only reason we're calling it that is because Ollie would not let me call this Money in the Jamk, which I thought was a much better name.
So out of the 8 competitors, me and Luke will be 2 of them, randomly drawn sort of entries. The winner
you want me to
will
do this?
get to... Yes.
So on the prediction show this coming week, we are going to be announcing the entrants for the Gem in the Jar ladder match. And in that, we're going to have 8 entrants who will all be given an avatar, a representative within the Money in the Bank ladder matches. The second ladder match will be the one that's actually going to count for our Money Jam in the Jar ladder match. So I want to call it Money in the Jam. And if that person wins, that person will then have Jam in the Jar, which means they can cash that in. They can appear on any stream at random that they want to and cash in on the main event and try and win the Jam that championship.
I just had to look into the camera. That was what I was doing wrong. Yes, all of those things that Luke said. So please subscribe here and we'll see you tomorrow. Jam that jam.
Jam that jam. Fist me, bro. Come the other way. Come the other way. Fist me. Yeah, fist me, bro. That's the one. Right there. Flare in the butthole. That's the one.